Well, good day all. Ira Epstein, and here we are with your financial market wrap-up. And it is Sunday evening. We're just after 6 p.m. Central Time. Interesting weekend. We heard what President Trump would and would not do. Nikki Haley out, Mike Pompeo out. I thought Pompeo was actually quite qualified. So interesting that he's out as well. But if you said anything bad about President Trump during the election run-up, you're on his list. It's that simple. We saw Qatar, by the way, pulled out of the negotiations, and I applaud them for it. You know, I have said to you consistently for 6 months, neither Netanyahu nor Hamas nor Hezbollah want to sit down and really negotiate. But now with President Trump elect, I guess you could say that, coming back into office, everything's changing, and it's changing rather quick. Even Putin all of a sudden over the weekend going, he applauds President Trump doing more in just this time than Biden had done. I don't know. We will see. I know there's 50,000 troops, according to President Zelensky of Ukraine, bordering up, getting ready for another push into Ukraine. So we will see just what can and can't be done. And Iran has been very quiet. We haven't heard anything out of that. Remember, Monday is Veterans Day. So you will find you get certain things you don't. Getting money in and out of brokerage firms, well, they won't be able to get their bank contact until Tuesday for you. So please understand what that is. And Tuesday, you're back to normal when they'll start crowding in a lot of the reports as we come through there. But that's how I'm viewing it. Now, you can see silver up a little bit, copper up a little bit. I didn't hear any words from China, but all the reports I read, pretty consistent with my thoughts, just not enough being done by them yet. When we look at the stock market, continuation of the euphoria, and I think that's the right word, of how the American economy is doing, and I think happiness with a Biden ouster, and if you will, and a Trump inster. How's those for words? Not even grammar. As you can see how this all works out here in the currency market, sort of playing back and forth, but even though you get bounce in these interest rates, where you saw a little bit of a yield dip on Friday, not lasting, and energy markets, well, you're stuck at the 70 level. You know, I read reports over the weekend for $50, so we will see how that works out. When you go to a monthly area chart of closes only, you're up at this point 5.22% for the month. You stayed up over everything. When we back it into weekly charts, you can see how the weekly charts are staying up and over the 18-week average of closes on a, if you will, a close basis. When we come over to the chart, you had a huge reversal up for the week. So until you take out this past week's low, I think you approach the market from the long side of it on the breaks, but you get under that number, especially if you get under it this week or next week, that poses some problems for the market. You can see you still have the pattern, even though it doesn't completely look like it, of higher lows, higher highs. The market did not this time around get back to the 18-week average. The battle was fought here, September. Remember, we were supposed to get that September weakness that never showed up? You see that right through there. New all-time highs. The new word on the street, 6,200 in the Dow, and 6088.80 is the next resistance spot on the Bollinger Band, and momentum is fully embedded. So until the red line closes under 79, I contend the pros will buy on the breaks. They will look for the market to keep going higher, and I think they're targeting the 6,200 level. In the Dow, you're embedded, first thing. Second, didn't quite make it to the 18-week average last week, just like in the S&P. Broke down in this time frame going into early September, didn't get that break, and here you are at new all-time highs. How high are they talking here? So is it reasonable to talk 47, 48,000? Could be. You know, people are putting all kinds of numbers on it. I know I'll be talking about them to my subscribers, showing what price counts are doing and the like, and I think that's a better way to do it. But I want them to get it from me before I put it out to the general public. Here you're fighting a battle, but This break low is what threw me off right there. So I'm staying with this pattern. You're right into the Bollinger Band. This is the resistance. You're now embedding or trying to in the NASDAQ. Not quite as strong as we saw in the other two markets. And not embedding, just overbought and over the upper Bollinger Band. As you're getting analyst after analyst saying they can see this go. Tom Lee of Fundstrat talking with that. He has a pretty big following. But I would tell you, don't buy over Bollinger Bands. You can, obviously. I wouldn't recommend it. In the 5-year note, I can see where the short covering happened last week. You went to the lower Bollinger Band in an oversold market. Hold on, Nelly. That's the area where the markets often try to stop. Same thing in the 10-year note. Not saying it can't go lower. The odds don't favor it. And that's all I care about. The trend is down. There's no reason to be bullish. But selling into the Bollinger Band, not my cup of tea. The dollar could extend this rally to the upper Bollinger Band at 105.67. It has fought a battle ever since. If we got to come back here, how many weeks? Last week, the week before, that's 2, 3, 4 weeks, almost 5. It's been fighting at the market to fight a battle at the 100-day, not the red line, the 100-day average. Still very much in the bull camp. Did not embed, just overbought. Eurocurrency did get down last week to the Bollinger Band. I think the smart money covered shorts. That doesn't mean I'm right, but that's what I think that they did. You're not embedded. You can get a bounce here. Canadian dollar, higher high, lower low. Same theory. You even had an outside week up and you're oversold. There's a point at which, as a trader, you have to understand you've just gone through a presidential election. You've just seen where now all the sweepstakes, as I understand it, they all went to President Trump. He won Arizona over the weekend. That went his way. And it was hard to figure out what these markets were going to do one way or the other. And that was the hardest thing. And then when it comes into office, it'll still be hard. But does that change the overall pattern? Not really. Dollar strength, still there. Japanese yen, outside week up last week. So either take out that low, and then I think you're going to 63.84, or you fight a battle right here trying to get back to the 18-week average. You're too oversold, in my opinion, to deploy new money on the short side. One of President Trump's favorites, Bitcoin. You're up 3,800 tonight. You've crossed the 80,000 level for a new all-time high. You're overbought. You're over the upper Bollinger Band. Euphoria, that's the type of trade it is. Then we get over to the Brent WTI oil, and they're just drifting against the 18-week average of closes. The trend of the market in Brent is still to the downside, lower highs, lower lows. WTI, you now have a higher. Last week's high was higher than 2 weeks ago and a lower low. So sort of drifting right through here. Gasoline market oversold, still in a bearish stage. It's interesting because I was looking today at Chicago gasoline prices, and I had been in Los Angeles area a week ago, and easily $1 a gallon more than Chicago, even for basic gasoline. Unbelievable. I want to remind you, and when I say basic, I'm talking plain old regular. When you look at these markets, one of the things that I try to do every morning is set you up for what I think are important trades with charts, 40 of them at a time, in both the futures markets, the spiders, the ETFs, and the stock market. All of the charts will look in the way behind me. I set you up and talk about buy here, sell there. Here's the stop order. Here's what I want you to do. Let's assume you're a unit that you normally buy 100 shares at a time. How do you take percentages off, or do you add to those? And I keep a running track with you in the video. I don't publish a track record per se. I keep up the trades that we are currently talking about, and you can do the rest of it. You want a track record? Track it. I know how I'm doing, but I'm not out to manage money. I'm not out to tell people, here's my track record on it. But it's only fair that if I say, hey, I want you to go out and buy NVIDIA here, that I keep up with where it's at. If I'm saying, buy the gold market on this break, where am I wrong? Where do I think the market's going? How do you peel off the positions? So using my analysis that I've developed over 50 years, got a pretty good following on it, I try to give that to you. Just go to iraepstein.com, the word research, top right. There's an icon up here. Give that a click and away you go. I'll catch up with you first thing in the morning. Have a great evening.